What is that? But what is that? So the hearing aids make that sound? What are you doing? think so.
I'm on. Better place.
Should I start? I could just do
Yeah.
the whole time anyway.
You can take out your lighters. Shabbat Shalom to the people in the room, to the people in front of their screens, to the people behind the soundboards, to the people at the entryway. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. So, as the last people are coming in, or maybe they're not the last, who knows? Maybe there will be more. The Shabbos bride. No, she already, yes, we'll welcome her. Here are some things. I realized this year, maybe more than ever, that congregations don't celebrate holidays. Congregations celebrate seasons. Like the moment the high holidays were over, or maybe like 2 weeks after, I started to think about Hanukkah. And I think by the time that December comes, everybody thinks about Hanukkah because it's Christmas season, and whom am I kidding? When everybody runs around and sings Jingle Bells, Jews begin to hum Mao Zedong just because, to have that. So, as we are in the Hanukkah season, I thought a little bit about what that means. It's an interesting season. It's a season full of ambivalences and contrasts. It is really cold outside, and most of the time we spend at work, we're spending in overheated public buildings. It's a contrast between darkness and light. There's the contrast between warmth and very sweet and fatty foods, and the fact that our streets are becoming more and more populated with people who have neither. And it's a big problem, especially in our kind of a weather. It's a time for lots of family time, And it's also a time for heightened tension as we prepare to spend more time at home with the people we love the most and get the most on our nerves. And what does that mean to prepare for all this and to spend so much time to be together and to talk? A lot of things can come out there. Conflicts and memories and beautiful things and some painful things. So to sit with all this and to sit with the story of the Maccabees and to celebrate light and oil while also knowing that it's a story of war, ultimately. It's an interesting question on how to find balance in this time of the year, maybe more than in other times of the year. So, I had an interesting meeting today with two congregants from whom I learned a lot. Two things they asked me for. And one thing I probably can't give them. They asked for a punchline and a mission to take home from when I speak. And I'm going to struggle with this for the rest of my life. But I'm going to try more. But the other thing they asked me to do was to tell you what I'm going to do it, and then to summarize what I have been doing. So I'm going to try this. So I want to, even though I always taught my students to never do that, but here you go. So what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to give a 15-minute sermon. I'm going to pick 3 moments of this parsha, and I'm going to use them to exemplify something that we do in our lives. And in the end, I'm going to summarize what I want you to take away from the Torah portion and what I think you should do in your lives. Or maybe some questions you can ask yourself. What we do, that's the punchline? That's the punchline. The reason that I'm struggling with these is because I'm not always sure that I'm equipped to tell you, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my...
That you're not equipped shouldn't stop anybody from giving advice.
I'm going to push myself. Give advice. Give advice to each other. What I want to ask you before we even get to the Torah portion is a little bit like thinking about the next couple of weeks. Hanukkah is around the corner, family time is around the corner, Christmas is also around the corner, and a lot of you have Christian family. So I'm assuming that most of you are going to be exposed to Christmas trees and family gets together and family time in one way or the other. What do you bring to this? Where are you when you think about honesty and trust and your wish of what to share and what not, heading into these weeks? And if that's okay, I'd like to invite Suzanne to light the candles for us on page 120.
You're going to sing the blessing?
I'm going to sing the blessing.
That's always so nice.
120. Then 120. Oh.
You know it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Thank you. Page 121, the reading that begins with as these. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our own lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle. light. This is Parashat Vayishlach. It's an interesting little parsha. At its center is our forefather Jacob. There are 3 moments in Jacob's lives that I would love to talk about today in relatively short terms. We see him do many things. We see him pray at the shore of a river full of fear. We see him wrestle in the middle of the night at the same river, facing some fear. And in the end, we actually see him encounter the personification of all of his fears, which is his brother. So this is the first little talk on Genesis 32, 10 to 13. It's just 3 verses, and that is Jacob's prayer. Let me just figure out where this is in this book that I don't love. Vayishlach, Genesis, what did I say? I should have prepared that, I'm sorry. 32. Okay. Then Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, return to your native land and I will deal bountifully with you. I am unworthy of all the kindness that you have so steadfastly shown your servant. With my staff alone I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. Else I fear he may come and strike me down, mothers and children alike. Yet you have said, I will deal bountifully with you, and make your offspring as the sands of the sea, which are too numerous to count. Now we can look at this cynically, or maybe realistically, and realize that this is not a prayer. This is actually an argument, right? I remind you here that you have promised me that I will be many, so you can't get me killed right now because then you would break your promise, right? I don't want to look at it like that right now. I want to see this one sentence. I am unworthy of all the kindness that you have so steadfastly shown your servant. With my staff alone I crossed the Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps. It's a really interesting realization for this guy who is not famous of being humble. He's famous for being a very proud man, a trickster, someone who knows how to enrich himself. And here he is, and he acknowledges one thing. It really worked for him. He was a young person who went out with nothing. And now he looks around and says, look, I have a family. It's huge. My bank account is full in his days. I have a lot of cattle and a lot of goats and a lot of sheep. I'm a rich person. I have people who love me and who depend on me. And it's scary. In this point, it is just scary because Jacob is really worried of losing everything he has gathered and not being worthy of the trust and the responsibility that is put on him. So what he's saying is, I might be small. I might be too small for what you gave to me. I was a little nothing with nothing when I came this way in the opposite direction. Now look at me. My family and staff spans 2 campsites. I'm rich and I'm responsible for a lot of people. And yet inside, I'm still the small boy I was, being afraid of my bigger brother. Save me. Save me. I brought you a song, and Tracy's going to play it for us. It's this prayer that someone in Israel put to music. And as you're listening, maybe you can ask yourself this question. What's the biggest prayer that you're heading with into this season? page 138, Lecha Dodi. Likat kala, ya na 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 na, ya na na na, ya na na na, na 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 na, ne Shabbat ne kabela. Dodi likat kala, ya na 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 na, Chaycha nekabela. Dodi likat kala, ya na 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 na, lekraba nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, ya na 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 na, ne Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, ya na na, ne Shabbat nekabela. Femi toveri, ki varech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alaich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ya na na, ne Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ya na na, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה Dodi likrat kala yananai pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha Dodi likrat kala yananai pnei Shabbat nekabela 140 Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer, uzamer, לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני. The next scene is the dream, or at least I like to call it the dream, but there are people with other opinions. Genesis 32, 25 to 30. So just a little longer, not too much. It's an amazing, humbling book, this book. Okay, no. I just never understand this book. Okay, where are we? Here. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he wrenched Jacob's hip at its socket, so that the socket of his hip was strained as he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for dawn is breaking." But Jacob answered, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Said the other, "What's your name?" He replied, "Jacob." Said he, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with beings divine and human, and have prevailed." Jacob asked, "Pray, tell me your name." But he said, "You must not ask my name." And he took leave of him there. So, God saves Jacob. Hatzilenina, Jacob said. Save me, save me. And this here is salvation. It's not exactly the kind of salvation that Jacob was expecting. God actually did not save him at all. Instead, God sends him a dream 10 times worse than the reality Jacob is about to encounter. In his dream, Jacob wrestles with Esau. But Esau is not a human being. It is an angel with divine powers. It takes up the form of Jacob's worst nightmares, an overwhelmingly strong adversary, someone strange and foreign, but familiar with all of his greatest weaknesses, and someone who first refuses to give him a blessing, someone who pushes him to change. Jacob fears pain. He fears defeat. He fears the loss of everything he loves. And he also fears judgment for his past actions. Heading into an encounter with his brother, heading into encounters, many of them with our family members. What are you afraid right now? What are you afraid of right now? Page 146, Baruch Hu. If you're able to rise, you rise, and if not, you may stay seated. 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vahed. Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro mahariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the season, 148, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hamari v'Aravim. 150.
We are love, 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 by unending love.
By unending love, we are love, love, loved. By unending love, by unending love.
We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. And we are
Love, 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 by unending love, by unending love. We are love, 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 by unending love, by unending love.
We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that need us, even when we are too weak for needing.
We are love, 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 by unending love, by unending love. We are love, 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 by unending love, by unending love.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael ahavta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael ahavta.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. Still 150. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. 152. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. 158. And the last scene I want to bring is Jacob's actual reality. When he wakes up the next morning, he crosses the Jordan, and sure enough, Esau is coming to greet him. These are many verses, and I'm going to skip some of them. If I find them. Genesis 32:1. Shouldn't be so difficult. Here we go. Looking up, Jacob saw Esau coming, accompanied by 400 men. He divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maids, putting the maids and their children first, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. He himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, falling on his neck. He kissed him, and they wept. Looking about, he saw the women and the children. Who, he asked, are these with you? Jacob answered, the children with whom God has favored your servant. Then the maids with their children came forward and bowed down, and so forth and so forth. And still he asked, what do you mean by all the company which I have met? He answered, to gain my Lord's favor. Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours. But Jacob said, no, I pray for you. If you would want to do me a favor, accept from me this gift. For to see your face is like seeing the face of God, and you have received me favorably. The scene goes on and on. Esau will reject all gifts. Instead, he will invite him to stay with him. Jacob will reject that invitation. Then Esau will tell him that he would like to accompany him for quite a while. Jacob will reject that offer. And in the end, Jacob will take what is his and go very far away to a place outside of his family's realm where he will purchase some land for money. And this is where he feels safe to settle down. So, what is this reality? It is, as so often in life, not as dramatic, but also not as clear-cut as Jacob maybe feared or dreamed it would be. Esau is indeed powerful. He is even richer and stronger than Jacob. That fear of his older brother never leaves Jacob. He does what he can to keep a distance from his brother. But Esau actually doesn't seem to have any intention to hurt him. He welcomes him back and accepts when Jacob kindly rejects the offer to stay. He lets him go, even if he does insist on a moment of hugging and kissing, and the rabbis are not so sure what this is about, so they kind of wonder if he maybe actually bit him in the neck. But there was this moment where they saw each other and looked into each other's eyes and acknowledged their past. This is a moment of recognition of what was. This is a moment of acceptance of the differences and distances taken. There is freedom to create the future, each one by themselves. Instead of violence, there is distance. Instead of love, there is freedom. In our words today, we could say, the brothers let go. Where in your life do you let go right now? Where do you find freedom instead of love? Page 156. It's our ultimate hymn, 58, our ultimate hymn for freedom. 58, Micha Mocha. He's on it. Mocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar bakodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele.
Malchutecha uvenecha, pokei ayam lifnei Moshe, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'ameru.
Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Ya, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. ונאמר כיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Blessed are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel and leading us to freedom. 160. Spread out your wings of love and protection. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'hamidenu shamreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'hamidenu shamreinu lechaim.
Hashkivenu Adonai,
Ushmor tzeiteinu, uvuenu, lechaim ushalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'hamidenu shamreinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'hamidenu shamreinu lechaim.
ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. And if you're able to, please rise, page 164 for the silent Amidah. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. page 180. 180.
Oh, say shalom, b'amromav. Huya, say shalom, aleinu. Oh, say shalom, b'amromav. Huya, say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al kol Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru, v'imru, amen.
So it's winter. On Hanukkah itself, we'll read the story of Joseph, which is always the case. It's Joseph's the dreamer. We often forget that the dreams begin long time before the actual beginning of Hanukkah, but more in the season of winter. So if we think about winter as a time to strike a balance for ourselves between the fears and expectations, the fat foods and the cold temperatures, the joyful moments, and sometimes our struggle with seasonal depression, because that's very real for many people. Where is the balance in all this? I brought today a very silly thing, just for us to find a little balance. One recipe is chocolate or fat. So I'd asked the Hebrew school kids 2 weeks ago if they eat Nutella with or without butter, and I discovered that this is not done in America. No one eats Nutella with butter. You and I must be the only people on the continent. Most people looked at me with it's like sacrilege. So I brought us chocolate for this kiddos so that you can wrap a little ball. It's either salted caramel, I believe that's the golden ones, or peanut butter, that's the blue ones, and you can wrap it in your challah, and it will be like a Nutella sandwich for Shabbat, which is the equivalent of the Hillel sandwich on Passover. So we do chocolate sandwich for Hanukkah. And whatever. Sometimes I have deep words and simple recipes. So for the ones who need a take-home message, eat chocolate. Do whatever is good for you to get through the cold and dark days. It's also only a couple more days until the days get longer. It's a couple more days until winter break or Christmas break or Hanukkah break or whatever you want to call it starts for you and your family. Take the time. Breathe in and breathe out. If the holidays don't unfold like you want them to unfold, the next set of holidays is just around the corner. And sometimes it is just as simple as that. Be tender to yourself. Reality is not as anxiety-provoking. There's grape juice over there. The dark ones are the grape juice. Reality is often not as scary and not as amazing as we think it will be. On this note, we're holding a couple of people just close to our hearts. Chanel, we're holding you close to our hearts. No, no sorries, no apologies needed. I've been coughing for 3 weeks straight. Yes. Also, Wendy Marcus, the entire family of Fred, the Leopold family, the entire Werner family that is still in the process of reconfiguring who they are and what they need. Ethel Marshall, the mother of Doug Marshall, Bob Wild, Ezra Sixtag, and Fern Levin, the mother of Randy Levin. Do you have any people you would like to name in this space? Because they're just going through something. It's the sick people, Dan, not the dead people. Do you want to add someone? No. Page 371, Mishe Berach. 371.
Mishe Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please rise for page 598, the Mourner's Kaddish. And I want to read the list for once of all the people who died within the last month of our life together. That is Fred Leopold, husband of Jane Leopold, and father of Lorna, Marnie, and Seth Leopold. Leora Werner, sister-in-law of Jake and Kama Werner, aunt of Quinn and Lauren Werner. John Alexander Roberts, father of Jackie Robin. Daniel Stoffel, Sid Bronston, husband of Joanne Broston. Ellen Ornitz's sister, Laurel Rachel Ornitz. Lisa Muller's mother, Arlene Heberlein, and her uncle, Carl Mueller. Larry Lederman, brother of Sharon Lederman and brother-in-law of Randy Levin. Kate Klingensmith's brother, Dave. And Wendy Marcus' husband, Michael, who died in February last year. Page 598. Do you want to add any names? יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחי יכון וביום יכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. It's an interesting thing. Sometimes prayers count, not for God, but sometimes they count for us. Sometimes you feel that you have truly said it. I think Dan just felt that he truly said it. Before we come to the end, and I don't have the end. I don't know what happened. Do you have the end?
We don't, but
Aha.
I know the last song.
I know there's one more song. I know there's Kiddush. And I know there are announcements. Announcements, I think, are actually pretty easy because this is a pretty easy week with Mahjong and Alexander Technique on Monday and Tuesday, and religious school on Wednesday. We're having the Hanukkah party. I don't see any parents, but you're all invited to come if you want to make your own menorah. And on Friday, we have a family service on Zoom, which is the regular format, especially for the people who like it quick. And here, there is one thing I wanted to ask you. And we're taking a break from the spiritual realm, or maybe not, and we're going into the total announcement brain section. We did have a survey on the times for our services, because there were 2 members who really dislike what we do. 6:30, yes. So what we found through the survey was that there are some people who would like to have it at 6, and some people who would like to have it at 7. There's no one who wants it earlier or later than that. There are some who like it at 6:30, and there is either both for 6 and 7. There were 2 people who said they can't do that at all. What we also learned that a lot has to do with dinner times. And my assumption, I have to confess, was always that you would come here and then you go and have dinner. But I learned that most of you come here and you had dinner and then you come here. Or maybe that's not true at all for you. I don't know. I know. It's different for everyone, but what I realize is it requires for a lot of people a lot of planning to figure out when to eat. So we have been thinking about a compromise in which we would have services start at 6 during the winter semester between... Yes, it would also move us a little bit closer to the actual times of Shabbat, even though we have no chance here, unless we want to meet at 3. No, 5:30 we can't do. Anyways, so we could start at 6 between Rosh Hashanah and Passover, and start at 7 between Passover and Rosh Hashanah. And my big question to all of you here, because you're my core group, would that work for you? And if it doesn't work for you, then we won't do this, because that's the only compromise I could offer. No. Uh-huh.
So I know for Brian's work ends at 6, and so does mine.
Okay. Okay. Deal breaker. Would it be
6:15.
I could be here at 6:15. I just can't
6:15 on winter times?
6:17.
come across the road there. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
It's in a different time zone.
Right. That's the dinner problem, right?
Yeah, it's the dinner time, particularly if we have an after-service thing at any time. It's too late to eat, and it's too early to eat.
Before. All right. All right. There's no solution to this, unless, what do you think about having some snacks here? No. But snacks are great in general. Yes. I see Trace in there. Okay, good. Honest feedback, I will continue to ponder this problem. That I'm not sure we'll find a solution for it, but just know that we're trying very hard to figure out how to do this well. So this is a good time for everyone. And if you do have things to say about this that you haven't put in the survey, please let me know, because especially among this group here, we will not change anything of the status quo unless it's okay. So no worries. No. We're not. This is the status quo. Yeah.
Not the consistency is nice.
Right. No, that was a big thing to have one time that, we don't change it around so there are no confusions about this. We're on a journey. Huh?
Would going later make it better, so everyone could have a chance, like 8 o'clock?
No. There was absolute consensus that nothing before 6 and nothing after 7 was an option. Okay, good. We're trying. Anyway, if you have big feelings, let me know, and we'll do our best to figure this out. And also maybe, to make this very explicit, the reason that I have these Zoom services is because it's possible to eat while you are listening to the service. And I don't hold it against you at all. You can eat and listen to me, and that's fine. And also, they're only 45 minutes long in case that this feels too long, which was another thing that came through. All right, on the journey together, hopefully towards peace. And I don't know the page number. It's somewhere in this book.
Oh, I don't either.
600 and something.
You
Let
all
me
know the
try.
song.
But I don't think you actually need the word. Oh, 657.
Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu Ve'al Kol Ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu Ve'al Kol Ha'olam. Salam Shalom.
The red one is the juice.
Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam.
It's coming around. White is wine, red is grape juice. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה ורצון הנחילנו. זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים. And here we go. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ ואת העוון. And here's how you do this, right? We're doing this at like the Seder. I'm here exemplifying. You take a piece of bread, you take the chocolate, and you put another piece of bread on top of it. Happy Hanukkah season. Okay, you just take the chocolate, no bread? You're welcome.
Which is which?
The blue one is the peanut butter, and the other one is salted caramel.
That is fair.
You can have both.
That's pretty clever.
The question is, how much do you need?
You know, tell that difference. Well, there are people. There are many people. They are actually pretty sweet. There's no bitter stuff on it. Yeah.
Like a jelly donut.
Start putting some horseradish on your s'mores.
So good.
Hey, maybe I should have asked, do you eat your Nutella with jelly? But it's... Okay, well, amazing. Would you do me one favor, Shabbat Shalom, everyone? Would you click on off? Thank you. Yes.
I have peanut butter in my veins.